So this, if we get paid to have effective conversations, if we are conversational engines, this brings us to the topic of language. On the next page, I want to share with you something that will be underneath the rest of our time together. If you ask 100 people, what is language? What is language for? What will the great majority answer you with? What's the common sense answer to that question? A tool for communication. Y'all clear? Something along these lines. That is the everyday paradigm, right? That's the common sense, current way of understanding language. I want to offer something different. If it's a tool you can't put down. It's not like the other tools. It's the one you need for all the other tools. The paradigm or the interpretation I want to offer you and invite you to play with for the next hour or so is this. Language creates and generates. It does not simply describe. It is not primarily a passive and descriptive thing. It's primarily a generative and creative thing. And this changes everything. Example, if I say, James, will you have lunch with me tomorrow at 1 o'clock? If he says yes, we have literally invented a tomorrow at 1 o'clock that 5 seconds ago was not going to happen. Right? We're not describing. We're making something happen. Think about this. Every time in your life when you said yes, think about every time in your life when you said the word yes. Here's my question. If all those times you had said no, would your life be different? You wouldn't be here. When you say yes, you move in the world this way. These doors open, these doors close. When you say no, you move in the world this way. One of my favorite stories about how language creates and generates. These two umpires are sitting around talking, and the first one says, Joe is a fabulous umpire. There's balls and there's strikes. He calls them like they are. Second umpire said, no. He said, Joe's a great umpire. There's balls and there's strikes, but he calls them like he sees them. And Joe walked up and said, y'all both wrong. He said, there's balls and there's strikes, but they ain't nothing till I call them. When he says strike three, it is strike three. This is interesting. Who here is married or has ever been married? All right, for all of you, here's a question. Is it different being married than not being married? Yes. It's really different. It's different legally, it's different socially, it's different emotionally, it's different sexually, it's different financially, it's different. So here's a question. How do we go from being not married to being married? I woke up in the trunk and there I was. No. Somebody said something. And in that moment, it's different and it's meaningfully different. It's not a little different, it's a lot different. Folks, think about this. At a wedding, is there not a moment when the person doing the ceremony says, anybody here think that Jane and Jim should not be married? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Well, here is my promise to you. If you stand up in that moment and holler out at the top of your lungs, I object, you are not describing, you are creating. What are you creating? Chaos, a crisis, a new relationship with the groom. Think about it. And a brand spanking new public identity for yourself. For all the other non-hermits in the room, who you are is different. Guys, think about this. Have you ever had an argument with someone? You say some stuff, they say some stuff. You say some stuff kind of agitated, they say some stuff kind of agitated back. It continues, it doesn't go well. You separate, you calm down, and you have this thought as you're thinking, as you're relaxing, this thought crosses your mind. You know what? I actually wish, now that I'm thinking about it, I wish I hadn't said that. Has anyone ever had this thought? Well, welcome to being alive. But what is the awareness that has us say that? Why do we think that, guys? Why do we have the thought, I wish I hadn't said that? Why does that thought cross our mind? Because I produced something back there. The feathers are out of the pillow, and I can't put it back in. I produced a result back there, and now I say it's not the result I wanted to produce. I didn't describe. I created something. Guys, think about all your relationships, all of them, at home, at work, social, all your relationships. Here's a question. What percentage of all the relationships in your life are physical or sexual? Now don't answer, but most of us, for most of us, it's a tiny, tiny percent, huh? A little bitty tiny percent. So what are all the other relationships in your life made out of? What are they constituted from? Your conversations. You change your conversations with your son, your sales manager, and your mother-in-law. And over time, you will change your relationship with your son, your sales manager, and your mother-in-law. You guys know this because what's the action you take when you want to end a relationship with somebody? What do? You stop talking to them. I don't know what to do about Bill. I'm at my wit's end. He's my COO. You know what? He's done this. He's done that. I don't know what to do. You know what that really means? In the great majority of situations, is you don't know what to say. What is there to do? Unless you're going to get him in a headlock, give him a noogie. I'm going to give Jim a noogie. Or you may want to, give him a swift kick, but absent that, it's a metaphor, right? Not knowing what to do in a huge number of cases. It means you don't know what to say and how to say it. If you want to build a corporate culture, right, of trust and ambition, honesty, integrity, if you want to build a culture of innovation, do you need a brick and mortar and a hammer to do that building? No. What would I see you doing as you're building that culture? Engaging in conversations. And you knew this when you walked in. Maybe not the way I'm saying it, maybe not exactly the way I'm emphasizing it, but this is what we do. Those of us who wear these kind of clothes to work. Even a carpenter, by the way, that wears steel-toe boots, a hard hat, and hammers for a living, right? He or she gets paid to put buildings up, gigantic physical component to this job. Unless he or she is a hermit carpenter, they better talk to the gutter guy and the concrete guy to coordinate the construction of that building. Anybody here, really, that's ever had a home construction project go awry knows what happens when those conversations don't take place. Our ability to lead effectively, to build a more productive culture, to drive sales, to create alignment, to mentor, to coach, all of these are equal to our capacity to engage productively in certain conversations. And I want to take it a step further. I'm going to say that this is true whether you see it or not, whether you believe it or not, and whether you like it or not. That this is the essence of leadership. It's our capacity to engage in these conversations.